Yeah, so hi, I'm Nikhil. I'll be talking about Jibber, which is a network debugging tool, and how we use Swizzling to achieve its magic functionality. So a bit more about myself, yeah, Nikhil. My Twitter handle is me, Nikhil. It's not a very imaginative Twitter handle, but when you have one of the most common first names among Indian people and the most common surname among Indian people, you just grab whatever you can get. Yeah, so I work at SP Digital along with our MCs and some other people. So if you've ever done that work, like make API calls in iOS, okay, this is a lot worse than it seems because of the focus. Okay, I mean, the point in the first place was for you not to read it, but thanks to the projector, you can totally not read it. Yeah, so normally when you debug like network calls or something, you kind of have to log it to console. And usually it's not so big, it's like it's a tiny window in the bottom right. And so what happened was like, there's this one time I was working with Matthew, our first speaker today, and we were expecting like this key, JSON key, like video underscore URL. But then like no matter how many times you ran the app and like tried figuring why is our like AV player not working, the video just didn't work. Then we tried to print it out the console, and it's very hard to see this one video URL. But eventually tracked it down, and we saw that it was video. So like the backend developer didn't follow documentation you wrote. So like what Rob said, just never trust backend people. Yeah, so this is quite sad. Yeah. So enter Swizzling. I mean, Andrew kind of mentioned a bit about it, but I'll go into a bit more detail. So there's always an easy way to do this debugging where I could just create something like Elmo Fire, but also add in an implementation, like whenever you make a network call, send it out to a Mac app or something. But that would require everyone to use my library, and no one wants to leave Elmo Fire or AF networking, or for some weird reason, NSURL session or connection. So in order to add functionality to NSURL session and connection, which almost every library like bases out of, we have to Swizzle. So what it does is it allows you to add implementations to like frameworks you don't have source code access to. Sorry. Okay, yeah, so of course with great power comes great responsibility. I learned this from Uncle Ben. I don't know who's the original speaker of this code. But like as you saw, Swizzling can be used for evil and can also be used for good. So I'll just go a bit more detail into what it is. So generally there are two kinds of ways to call functions. So what we used to in Swift is like function calling. So basically you're calling a hard-coded address of a function and passing in value for the function to manipulate. So the address is known beforehand at compile time. But then for message passing, Objective-C and other messaging style languages like Smalltalk, you are able to it's more dynamic because eventually, even though you might call like C methods or something, it's only at runtime that the function being called is decided. So throughout the course of the app running, this address might change. Yeah, so eventually this thing will go down to Objective-C message send. Of course, Swizzling is like a huge topic, and this is like the flowchart that you have to go through in order to resolve and return the actual function if let's say you are not implementing it. This I will not cover in this talk because it's only 10 minutes, and this is going to take like an hour or something. But if you're interested to find out more, please go read up like Mike Ash's blog post or Matt Thompson's blog post. There's so many, tons of information about this. But let me just show you what it looks like. So let's say this is like a what do you call it? Select NS string selector table, where you have like common methods, lowercase string, uppercase string, capitalized string, and their function pointers A, B, and C. So if I give you this string, this is a string, and call lowercase string on it, this will return what you expect, which is lowercase string. So if you were to swap the function pointers of lowercase string and uppercase string, and call lowercase string again, you'd see that now you will get this, because the function pointers have been swapped. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. It's almost exactly what Android did, like just exchange implementations and stuff with your own method. For this case, I'm using NSStrings methods. But of course, fizzling can be used for so much more than just playing around and breaking other people's code. So let me show you a demo of how it can be used. So please bear with me because this demo requires internet, and as you all are aware, the internet is a bit finicky. Okay. 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 Yes. But first try. Yes. Okay. So you can't see much. No, it's there. But my iPad is there. Sorry for the interference. I have to use the iPad anyway. So you can't really see much, but basically this is the JSON printed out here. And within the app itself, yeah, it's, okay. Once again, you can't see. Please come to me after if you want to look more. But basically, it's just a framework that's dropped in, and there's like no additional code that sends it. So if you can somehow make out something, it's basically like normal, just web view, load request or something. And it would print out everything to this app. And the app is pretty simple to integrate. Where's my mouse? Okay, there it is. Come on. Yes, okay. So you can just like poke parts or just drop in the framework. So it's basically a drag and drop, and there's no like additional code required because all the magic's done by Swizzling. Yeah, so if I were to come here and use like, this is AF HTTP session that I get, but you can't see it now. And if I were to click on this, you can see that it will display the data that you put over here. So, of course, I mean, we also made it easier. Like, you can see all the episodes here and everything. Yeah, so this is, of course, to me, it looks a lot easier than debugging that mess of console. Yeah, so this was a paid app until recently, but we decided to open source it. So please play around with it, and like if you have any good PRs or something, just send it over. The links are below. Rebel Tools Jibber and Rebel Tools Jibber Mac. Of course, I can't demo too much here because you can't see anything. But please feel free to find me. I'll probably be near the SP booth. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you.